Hi, Tony. Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while. I've spoken with the leadership group. There are 4 of them, and Naomi when she's back, quite extensively. And then I've met with 4 of the players individually, and I will meet with 13 or 14 more this afternoon. It's important for me to get to know them as individuals quickly. I can see what I've seen in 3 training sessions so far from a soccer standpoint, but I want to get to know them as human beings. So, as you know, Tony, we spend a lot of time on that, and we build real human connections with our players, and that's important for me. So, getting to know them quickly is important. Look, having 3 training sessions in a game is certainly not ideal, but it's the reality. And so, starting to implement some ideas, but not overwhelming them, is the balance I'm trying to strike. So I think they've done a fantastic job over the last 3 days. They've had a lot of change in the last 6 or 7 weeks, and so we've tried to stabilize, but also give them some really clear ideas as to how they can be successful, and I think they've taken it really well so far.
And then just tactically, what are some of the strengths in these 3 sessions that you've seen that gives you hope for some great things coming up for the rest of the season?
I've been really impressed with everything I've seen. There are a lot of good players on this team, and we still haven't seen Delphine's in, but not here with us yet. Naomi's coming back, Jaden's coming back from the Olympics. So there are a lot of good qualities, and you know pretty clearly the way that I like to play, and we like to play with Loyal, and there are a lot of profiles that fit that perfectly. So I was very impressed with the quality. I'm impressed with the work ethic. I'm impressed with the versatility. They're able to do a lot of things tactically and physically, and so we're going to be fine. It's difficult for sure when you have a game 3 days in, but I think they're in a good place, and tomorrow should be a lot of fun.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Tom.
Dan Laletta, we'll go to you. Dan, you ready? You're off.
Dan, are you sleeping?
Dan, if you're having any audio issues, feel free to just message your question. Oh, I see. Maybe you did. Nope, different question. Feel free to message your question and we can get to it. We will go to Daniel Olea.
You're muted, Daniel. There you
Gracias,
go.
Landon.
Hi.
Hey, un gusto escucharte otra vez.
Gracias.
Háblanos sobre esta oportunidad de ahora dirigir internamente a lo que es San Diego Wave, lo que significa para ti por ser alguien exclusivamente de San Diego, y también coméntame, por favor, qué significa tú como el máximo referente de el fútbol estadounidense ahora poder tener la oportunidad de dirigir al referente femenil estadounidense como lo es Alex Morgan.
Sí, en mi carrera, en mi vida, he hecho todo en el deporte. He jugado en muchas ligas, en todas partes del juventud en América, Major League Soccer, con Estados Unidos. Jugué en indoor soccer, jugaba en México, Inglaterra, Alemania. Lo único que no he hecho es con la femenil y ya tengo la oportunidad. Me encanta la comunidad de San Diego. Hace 9 años mudé con mi esposa y mis hijos y ya soy parte de la comunidad. Me encanta la ciudad, la comunidad, la gente y mi vida ahí. Y por eso decidí tomar este trabajo y trabajar con el Wave. Estoy emocionado, es mucho trabajo, pero estoy en una parte de mi vida donde estoy listo para con algo así. Pues por eso emocionado empezar y mañana, después de 3 días, empezamos.
Y sobre la oportunidad de dirigir a Alex Morgan.
Sí, un sueño. Ella y yo jugamos en el mismo tiempo en nuestras carreras. Ella es al final de su carrera, no sé cuántos años más va a jugar, pero yo tengo mucha experiencia que puedo compartir con ella. Por ejemplo, ella no fue a los Juegos Olímpicos en 2014, yo no fui al Mundial y hablamos sobre eso hace 2 días y yo tengo experiencia que puedo ayudarle un poquito, ojalá.
Por último, Landon, de mi parte, lo acabas de mencionar, tu amor por San Diego. Sabemos que este es una posición interina. Me imagino que ya hablaste con la directiva, depende de los resultados, si hay alguna posible extensión de contrato, quizás a largo plazo. Pero si no, pues también sabemos que San Diego sí anda buscando director técnico.
En momento, bien enfocado en lo que viene. Claro, hablé con Jill Ellis y Cami Ashton sobre todas las posibilidades, pero somos de acuerdo en este momento enfocar en ayudar al equipo a avanzar de este torneo y calificar para los playoffs. Lo que va a pasar en el futuro nadie sabe, pero vamos a ver.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Dan. I believe you have your mic fixed.
So, can you hear
There
me
you
this
go.
There you are, Dan.
In business.
time? Hi, Landon.
Hi, Dan.
Could you just maybe go over the process of how you became interested in the job and how it came to be that you're now sitting here doing this today?
Sure. I've known Jill since 2015. I was at the World Cup in Vancouver, the World Cup final in Vancouver, and we spent a lot of time together after the match and just got to know each other. She's an incredible human being. She's an incredible leader. So we've kept in touch over time, and when she came to San Diego, it was nice because we could spend some time together. As the Wave got going and San Diego Loyal got going, we kept in touch. There was crossover, there were things we could do together, etc. So she reached out and said that she was looking for, she had texted me, and I had texted her when the team was going through a hard time and just said, hey, I'm thinking about you guys and I hope you're doing okay. And she had sent a message and said thank you, and if there's any candidates you think would be interesting, please let me know. And I didn't respond to the message, and I kind of thought about it for a little bit that evening. I talked to my wife. I said, well, I love San Diego. We've loved watching and supporting the Wave. I miss coaching. Maybe I should think about it. And so I sent Jill a message back and said, well, if you're interested, I would be interested in having the conversation and see where it goes. And that's how it started, and now we're here.
And what would you say is your learning curve? Obviously, soccer is soccer, but what is the learning curve in terms of learning the other players around NWSL?
Steep, for sure. I have a baseline. I know a lot of the players here from watching them throughout the last few seasons, but the rest of the league, no, I'm going to have to lean on people, and I'm getting up to speed fast, so I've watched a ton of film in the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to understand the league better, but for me and for those who followed San Diego Loyal, 90+% of what we do is focused on us. I know a lot of people don't operate that way and they're kind of focused on the opponent each week, but we're focused on getting a very clear identity, building a really, really, really strong culture. And those two things led us to a lot of success with Loyal, so I anticipate doing the same here.
And then lastly, you mentioned the Americans are not back yet. Is Kaylin Sheridan there with you, available for tomorrow?
Yes, she is.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. All right, Steph Young, we'll go to you next.
Thanks. Hey, Coach. Steph Young with The Athletic.
Hi, Steph.
Just wanted to ask, you mentioned, a steep learning curve, NWSL is a very unique league. I'm just wondering, given that reality and you acknowledging that, what were the discussions like between you and Jill and Cami? If they had any reservations that it was a steep learning curve, or
Sure.
the interim nature of the job may have particularly affected that.
Yeah, look, it's a tough situation for a club to be in, right? And the challenge is when it's the middle of the season, certainly your candidate list is going to be more limited. Paul did an amazing job, I think, just stabilizing the team during a hard time. And so the conversations we had were really open and honest. How do we start to build something that is identifiable, that the club is proud of, that the ownership's proud of, that the players believe in, but that's also sustainable? And so now with Cammie here, I'm just really impressed with her. I think she's really good, and she's been a joy to work with, to be honest. And she's stabilizing that side of the soccer side, and they needed someone to help stabilize and I think just bring some confidence and belief and culture to this side. So that, I don't do a lot of things well, but that is one thing we do well. I did well at San Diego Loyal, and every time we played at Torero, it was a team and a product that people were really, really proud of and connected with. I would always say if you turned off the header at the top of the screen and it didn't tell you who was playing the game, you would say, oh, that's San Diego Loyal. And we're going to do the same here. If you don't know what NWSL teams are playing and you just turn on the TV, you'll go, oh, that's San Diego Wave. I can tell by the way they play. And our fans will love that, and the players will love it.
Your personal approach to building those connections in that kind of context, or is human connection human connection?
Yeah, look, again, not a lot of things I do well, but my number one core value is compassion. And so when you've dealt with mental health your whole life, the one plus side of that is you have a lot of compassion for human beings. I know these women have been through a lot this year, and then in some cases a lot in their careers. It's no different than when I was coaching San Diego Loyal. There's some people who are in very difficult spots in the moment or have had hard things in their lives, and I don't view this as purely a soccer job. My job is to have a positive impact on their life every day. That doesn't have to be on the field. I hope it is as well, but also off the field. For example, I had a long chat with Alex, and I won't get into tons of detail, but I went through the same thing that she went through this summer. I got left off a team, and I have the ability to empathize because I went through that. And so we had a long talk about how do you make the last stretch of your career still positive. I was able to come back and win a championship that season with my team, and that was the lasting impression of that season, not getting cut. And so I because of all the experiences I've been through, I think I can connect with them on a really personal level. And if I make them better soccer players, that's great, and I think I will. But I want to make them better human beings too.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Steph. All right, we're going to go to Derek Togerson from NBC. You are unmuted. Or you will need to unmute, yeah.
All right. Hey, Coach, you got me?
Hi, Derek. Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Nice to hear your voice.
Good, nice to see you. When you have basically 13 matches to the end of the season here, how do you approach this, as you were just kind of talking about being a mentor versus a coach on the field? How do you juggle, we can still make some progress and get into the playoffs and win a championship versus just kind of stem the tide to get everybody through the end of the season?
It's a great question. So I've had long conversations with Nate Miller, who was my assistant coach with Loyal. How much do you give them and try to implement versus not throwing everything out the window, because not everything that's gone on before has been a negative. There's still lots of positives. How much do you trust them and lean on them to take the info quickly and not just try to right the ship in the short term? What we came back to when I had long conversations with him, what we came back to was two things. I only know how to do things one way, and that's all in and go for it. So doing anything other than that would be inauthentic, and the players would feel that and know it, and I just wouldn't be good at it. Number two is, after three training sessions now, they are able to take information and process it much faster than I was expecting or used to from my previous coaching experiences. And so because of that, I've just said, you know what? I called Nate and I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it a little more than I thought early, and they can handle it. And so we'll find out tomorrow how much. There's going to be lots of bumps on the road. You will not see a team that's, perfect tomorrow by any means. But there will be progress. I think it will be clear to see. And then ultimately, I think I don't want to live in fear, and we just want to be brave and go. And try to do things the way that I know how to do. And I think if everyone's bought in and does that, one, they're going to enjoy it. Two, the fans are going to love watching it. Three, they're going to connect more with the team and the community. And four, I think we'll be successful. So that's the plan.
And then starting your career with them in Panama, in another country, where
Yeah.
Can that be almost a positive where there's no distractions at home? Everyone's got to be in the same place. You can kind of get everyone on the same page together. In this very unique circumstance, can it help you starting something like this in a completely new country like you're doing?
Yes, and part of the reason is we came 2 days early, so we came yesterday. We have all day today, all day tomorrow. So because of that, I have the ability now to meet with everybody in person. And at home, that wouldn't have been possible. I can't keep them there till 6 p.m. at night doing one-on-one. Having one-on-one conversations. So we have all afternoon in the hotel. I'm going to do 13 or 14 in a row and get to know them, and that is a big advantage here. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, Derek.
All right, we're going to take a few more. We'll go to Sandra Herrera next from CBS.
Hey, Coach Donovan, can you hear me?
Hi, Sandra. Yes, I can.
Awesome. Welcome to NWSL.
Thank you.
Quick question for you. You've spoken a little bit about the timeline, saying it's been a couple weeks and about 3 sessions with the players so far. But another timeline question for you in terms of discussions. It wasn't when you were announced. It was also mentioned that Paul Buckle had served a very specific time for the Wave. It was kind of a summer spell. Has there been any discussion like that with the Wave for you as far as a timeline? Is this purely meant to be just kind of an interim role, or is the door open for things with this club in the future?
The door is open, but what we've agreed on is through the end of the season, and we'll go from there. We just evaluate how everything's gone, and we'll go from there. And the good thing with Jill is we're very honest with each other, and we both understand the challenges of leadership and how difficult it is. And so instead of beating around the bush, we're just honest. And we both said, look, if it goes well, let's have the conversation. If it doesn't, one side doesn't want it or the other, no problem. There's no hard feelings and we'll move on. But let's put our whole heart into it and go for it, and then we'll figure out where we go from there.
And as far as like the learning curve, you mentioned that it's one thing to get acclimated to NWSL competition, but now you will also kind of find yourself thrown into a little bit of a cup competition as well, and you're going up against a team in Panama. Does that take away maybe some of the pressure in terms of getting immediate results right away, or does it increase the pressure, especially with this particular tournament kind of having bigger implications down the road for a potential spot in the FIBA Club World Cup?
Well, pressure is perceived, right? Nothing about pressure is real. So I learned that a long time ago. So I don't worry about pressure, but it's a unique challenge in that this is the first game ever in the W Women's Champions Cup. So it's or the W Concacaf Champions Cup. So it's there's a sense of pride that we get to participate in that. There's a sense of nostalgia for me coming back to Central America and playing games like this. I have lots of experiences. Our players don't have these experiences a lot because they haven't been part of it. So it's a really unique circumstance, but an exciting one for them. This competition is really important. I asked Jill and Cammie right in the beginning, I said, how do you value and what weight do you put on this tournament versus getting in the playoffs? And they said, equal. We want both. And so we will take it seriously, just like we'll take the Angel City game seriously on Saturday and the rest of the league and the rest of this tournament. The ability to play in a Club World Cup would be phenomenal. And I understand that responsibility very clearly. And that is my goal, to help us get there, whether I'm there eventually or not.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Sandra.
Meg Linehan, we'll go to you next.
Thanks. Hi, Landon.
Hi,
Megan
Meg.
Hand from The Athletic.
Hi, Meg.
Following up, I guess, on Sanders' question about you saying the door being open. I know kind of everybody immediately made a leap about what your ambitions were in
Yeah.
terms of taking this role. I was hoping that you could maybe speak to that directly about, whether this is a stepping stone to something bigger or whether this is just about you being in the moment coaching this team.
Yeah, let me share something that I've never shared publicly before, because it's an interesting take from people, and I understand why they leap there. So I've been offered 4 MLS jobs in my life, okay, since I started coaching, and turned down all of them. And there's a few reasons. One is, in no particular order, I love San Diego. I love working with good people. I told Jill when I did this, when I make a decision in my career, it's about people, passion I have for it, and the project. And so Jill is good people. I met Cammie, and immediately we connected. I've known Alex for a long time, getting to know these women quickly. They're incredible human beings. I have tremendous passion every day I wake up after not sleeping because I'm so excited. My wife's like, why are you out of bed again at 3 a.m.? I'm excited to do this every day. And the project's phenomenal. There's amazing resources. The ownership has been phenomenal in saying whatever we need to help you get done, we're going to help you get done. I'm enjoying every minute. There is no better place in the world for me to be working right now than where I'm working with the Wave. I am so content and so at peace. And so I understand why people question that or question motivation or whatever. People question my motivation when I didn't play in Europe my whole career, and I was happy to play in LA and help grow MLS around good people and have passion for a project that I believed in and be close to my family. So I'm different in that way. I've always been different. I don't worry about the next job or the next gig or what this means or the stepping stone. I am present and happy to be here, and I want to help this team succeed.
Thanks, Landon. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Meg.
All right, let's do 2 more here. Moore, we'll go with you.
Hola, Landon, un gusto saludarte otra vez.
Hola, amigo.
Felicidades, nuevo puesto. Me gustaría, ya sabemos que no te gusta hablar del futuro, pero ¿qué tal del pasado? No sé si se te acercaron otros equipos en estos meses, en este tiempo que no tenías trabajo, y también la selección de los Estados Unidos. No sé si te llamaron. Esa sería la primera pregunta. Y la segunda es que nos hables qué significa para el Wave participar en esta primera edición de la Concacaf Champions femenil.
No me llamaron, no. Para nuestro equipo es un honor. No solamente el primer torneo, además primer partido en la historia. Y experiencias así son increíbles, son priceless para todos nosotros. Yo tengo, como he dicho, mucha experiencia en esta parte del mundo, en Concacaf, jugando en partidos así. Ahora como técnico tengo que compartir mi experiencia con los jugadores. Hoy cuando entrenamos, todos dicen, ay, es calor, húmedo y todo, y están aprendiendo que es diferente aquí. Pero estas experiencias son muy valiosas para jugadores, pues estamos muy, muy emocionados.
Y otra, ¿qué le dirías a la gente de los locals, los chavos, toda esa afición que generaste, Landon, con el Loyal, y que podría apoyar de alguna manera al Wave?
Ojalá que sí, los extraño mucho. Este año fue difícil sin fútbol en San Diego para nosotros, con San Diego Loyal. Muchos apoyan, ya apoyan al Wave y ojalá que mucho más nos apoya empezando el sábado en Snapdragon.
Excelente, gracias.
Gracias, amor.
All right, una más. Abraham Zapata, we'll go with you.
Hey, Coach, thank you for the time. I was wondering if you
Abraham.
could speak a little bit about the development of young players. That was kind of your role with the Loyal at the end there with Loyal Select. I was wondering if you could talk about, developing players like Melanie Barcenas and Kimi Escanio and how you plan on doing that in this new role.
Great question. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I mean, Mel's special. Like, she's very special. And I had seen it, from afar and watching her up close. she has all the ability to be really special. I think what she needs is guidance. And I have been in her shoes. I was a 16-year-old who had a lot of talent and people were talking about, and I know exactly what she's going through. So that will be one of my personal projects for sure. Kimmy I haven't seen because she's been injured, but I watched a lot of tape on her, and she looks like a very special player too. So I'm excited to work with her. I think, having the chance to work with Jaden when she's back, there are a number of being in San Diego Surf's backyard. There are a number of young women that train with us too, and there are some really good players coming through the system. So I enjoy that. That is where I get my most joy and what I'm most passionate about. The team part I love too, but working with individuals and making them better as players and human beings is where I get my most joy. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I think there's a path here where certainly Mel, because I've seen her, I don't know quite yet with Kimmy and others, but she has a chance to be really special. And I see it as a huge responsibility to help her achieve her dreams.